Hey broker community, I'm Katie Sweeney. I'm the head of strategy here at AIME, and we're kicking off another weekly sales meeting. This week we're focusing all about community. So much of the community is what you put into it. Your experience, everything that you're able to ultimately get out of it is all driven off of what you contribute up front. Our community, both here in the Brokers Are Better world and locally, is a huge component in the broker world overall, right? Not just your clients and your neighbors, but how you show support in those areas, how you're able to give back, what you're doing locally to help contribute to the housing market and to the economy in your areas, how you're educating consumers, how you're working with other small businesses. Those are all things that are eventually going to yield into business return for you, but you have to start by giving without the expectation of receiving. That is so critical. If you give, you will get back. We've got some broker members here that are a part of AIME that I'm sure you all know and love just as much as we do, that have been doing an incredible job of this over the last 6 months when it's been really difficult to connect, especially locally, in ways that we're used to, right? We can't have all the same networking events right now, all the mix and mingles, all of the school events, all of the sporting events. Those have really been kind of minimized. And so we've got a lot of members that have found creative ways to contribute to their communities in their local areas. JP Hussey and the Hussey team here locally in Philadelphia has done a fantastic job of giving away meals without expecting anything in return. If you need it, they've got it. They do it once a week. It's been picked up in some local media around here. We've shared it as well. His team is doing a great job of making sure that everybody in his community, everybody in their community has what they need, and they've got a consistent access to food if that's something that's necessary for them right now. Brendan McKay did an incredible job. He put together a restaurant bingo during the shutdown, which really encouraged consumers within his footprint, borrowers that follow him and his company on social media, to dine with local restaurants that were struggling and hurting. He didn't expect anything in return. He was willing to give away gift cards for anybody who completed that bingo challenge. And it really encouraged them to give back and to make sure the local economy and the restaurateurs in that area, other small business owners, were being supported. That's going to come back tenfold when those people, everyone who works at those restaurants, the borrowers that are engaging in the game, are ready to refinance, they're ready to shop for a new mortgage. You know they're going to think of Brendan and his team first. Jackie Dunlap built an entire processing company, right? Processor training system around finding local talent in servers from restaurants that had closed, teachers that aren't able to be in the classroom with their students any longer, bringing them in, taking the skills that they already have, those transferable skills that really transcend any industry. They help you communicate with people. And she's teaching them the mortgage industry to make sure they have a path to continue to work because they're pillars in their communities already. They're already engaged with people locally. She's bringing them into the industry to help other mortgage brokers feel supported by training these processors. So lean in, give back, find what you can do for your local community. A big part of what you can do is helping provide education and resources to make sure that every facet of your community is being served. So often we hear about first-time home buyers, consumers from specific backgrounds who've lacked access to education around financial health. They're getting turned down. Sometimes they have to go to 3 or 4 or 5 different loan officers before they find somebody who's willing to work with them. Don't turn them away. Bruised credit does not mean they are a bad borrower. It just means they might not be ready today. Use our services in the Brokers Are Better network, like My Credit Guy, like FinLocker. Give them a path to homeownership that they're going to be able to use not only today, but throughout the course of their lifetime. Everybody who's engaging in their financial education right now and looking to you as the expert and you as the person who's provided these tools and resources is going to turn into your pipeline every 3 to 5 years moving forward. Lay the groundwork today for these communities. Use the Brokers Are Better network community to build your business and to create a path to homeownership for all of these underserved markets. We also want to challenge you to lean into the Brokers Are Better community. Our online communities are a huge part of what we do at AIME. Brokers Are Better, WMN, Vetted VA, all of these are providing resources on a regular basis to help you grow your business. They only get better if you lean in. The more you contribute, the more we can tailor the content that we're creating, the more you're going to get out of it, the more responsive other members of our community are going to be when you post questions. Answer first, ask second. Answer questions that you have access to, give people the knowledge that you've gained, make recommendations, give feedback, give advice, and then ask about what you need too. Everyone is more willing to give once they've seen that you're contributing to the community. So lean in, be active in the Brokers Are Better Facebook group, be active in the WMN Facebook group. Make sure that you are supporting our events, not just ours at AIME, but local events for your community around the country. Make sure that you're following us on social media and also following any of the business pages of the brokers that are a part of our network, right? A huge part of your business is increasing your online reach, increasing your online community reach. The best way to do that is to have everybody who's a part of this group, all 8,000 of you that are out there, helping support everyone else's businesses going forward. Like their business page, engage with their marketing content. They're going to do the same for you. Give without expecting a return, and you're going to get 10 times more than what you've put into it. We are on a mission to show why brokers are better, and we're here to make sure that the Brokers Are Better community is the best one out there. We get better when you give us access to what you need. So lean in, and we promise we will give back the fastest and the best way that we can. Our Brokers Are Better Network Spotlight for the week, we want to give a big congratulations to Lion Desk. They are on Inc. 5000's list of fastest growing businesses. That's a huge accomplishment and a big milestone for those guys. So congratulations. They've been a part of our network for about 6 months now. We're big fans of them. Check them out if you haven't yet. Lion Desk, from all of us here at AIME and Brokers Are Better, congratulations. We also want everyone to know that you are a part of this community. So we launched a store. Everyone's been asking for access to additional Brokers Are Better and AIME-specific merchandise for the last couple of months. We finally got our store off the ground. Go check it out. There's all new t-shirt colors, tank tops, different designs, coffee tumblers, water bottles, wine glasses, which I know that I could use. There's all kinds of stuff in there. We'll be putting new products out the first week of every month moving forward, so keep your eyes peeled for those new releases. We've got some great stuff coming already for the first week of September that we'll be pushing out next week, and then we'll have new launches the first week of the month through the rest of the year. So take a look, get that gear, make sure to wear it loud and proud, and let everybody know brokers are better. This week on the podcast, we have one of the leaders of our community, Mr. Marc Summers. He is not only the president of AIME, but he's also a broker owner out in Michigan. He's got a team. He's an active originator. He's in the trenches with y'all day in and day out. He came to Philadelphia last week, sat down with JP Hussey. There's some great stuff in there. Check it out, Broker to Broker podcast. It's live. Go download it. Shout out to Marc. He's coming up in just a little bit. But before that, I'm going to toss it over to Rene.
Hey, thanks, Katie. As you can see, I'm here at the airport, but we didn't want to skip a beat, so we want to give you this special clip on optimism versus pessimism. Take it away, guys.
The courage that it takes for us to take on new emotional and behavioral habits, and even to begin to understand what's happening to us emotionally and behaviorally during things like a pandemic, difficulty, adversity, change. I want to go deeper into understanding what we have back here. So follow me back here. What we have back here is something that Dr. Martin Seligman created on optimism versus pessimism, or really understanding our explanatory style. Now, so follow me as I go through this, okay? Because it might seem complex at first, but it's actually quite easy. And remember, this is scientific knowledge applied. So what he's talking about here is that the way we explain different scenarios to ourselves really determines if we're an optimist or a pessimist. And what I have also come to find out is the more that I understand that, the better decisions that I can make. And so let's dive in just a little bit deeper. What he's saying here is that different ways we explain things are sometimes going to be internal, like basically it's my fault. Or it could be external, someone else's fault. Now, sometimes you want to claim something being your fault. A positive thing happening in your life, you want to say, hey, I created that. Or maybe something negative, like an adverse moment of something that's going on, or a failure, sometimes it's good to say that, you know what, this is something external. This is not about me, right? And then we go into, is it permanent or not permanent? Some things you want to be permanent in your life. Success, you want it to be permanent. Adversity, you don't want that to be permanent. And so we have to really decide how we're explaining that to ourselves. The next piece, is it limited or universal pervasiveness? Now, pervasiveness meaning, is it limited, meaning in just one small area of my life, or is it universal that it affects everything? So let's take a deeper look at how an optimist and a pessimist would look at success or adversity. And I want to begin with adversity. And to make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to use purple as our optimistic view, okay? So we have adversity here and the different explanatory styles. And so let's play along with me here and see if you can guess, how would an optimist, purple, take a look at adversity? Would they say it's their own fault? I'm an optimist, so I'm going to say adversity is my fault, or would they blame something external to themselves? And of course, they would look at that as someone else or something external. And so as an optimist, purple, would I look at adversity as temporary, or would I look at it as something that lasts a long time? And of course, they would see that as something that's temporary. They say, you know what, this is something outside of me and it's not going to last that long. You see how it sounds optimistic? And so that would they look at adversity as an optimist in one area of their life or all areas of their life? And so since it's adversity, they would look at only one area of their life. So when a negative thing or tough moment happens, they're going to say, you know what, this is something outside of me. It's only temporary and it affects only one area of my life. So let's take the color red. And the color red is going to be our pessimist. And obviously it's pretty simple. Just let's play along. They're going to look at adversity. And of course, they're going to say, you know, this is my fault. I'm the one that messed this up. And they're going to look at this and they're saying, of course, this is going to last forever. And it's going to affect all areas of my life. So if you're watching this and you've been through the COVID-19 pandemic, or you're in the middle of it right now, think of how and where we fall. This could be considered adverse times. Where do you fall? Is it something that you created? Maybe the effects that have happened, because it's not the virus per se. Maybe it has affected your family, but maybe it's affected your business or your performance or how you feel, and now you're stuck at home. Is it your fault, or is it something outside of you? Well, we know it's something outside of you, but how we explain it to ourselves really determines how we feel. And is this temporary or is it a long time? Watch social media. You watch some people that are saying this is going to last forever. And the people that are succeeding right now are looking at this as really just a temporary moment in time. And it is a blip in the radar of our entire lifespan. But it can feel so real and so heavy right now. Is this in one area of our life or in all areas of our life? Remember, how we decide to explain this to ourselves is really going to determine a lot. So let's take a look at the other side of how an optimist and a pessimist looks at success. We're going to go back to our optimist color of purple again. And so something good happens in your life. And would they look at it as their own fault, or would they look at it as someone else's fault? Well, think about it. This is a good thing, so they're going to take the credit for it. So they're going to say, this is definitely my fault. And is it temporary or is last time? And an optimist would say, no, this is forever. I'm going to be successful, or good things are going to be happening to me because they're always happening to me. And is it in one area or all areas? Is it limited or is it universal? Of course, success is going to be universal for the optimist. And of course, let's go back to color red to understand the pessimist view here of success. They're going to say, you know what, I got lucky. It was something else, something somebody else did. And they're going to look at it from that perspective. And they're not going to think it's going to be last forever. They're going to say this is only temporary. You know, it's only temporary. It's not going to last, right? And of course, and you know, I got lucky. It's only one area of my life. So as we think about those two areas, optimism, pessimism, are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? We look at the explanatory styles, and I've had this conversation with both of my kids to talk about, and all of my kids to say, life is about how you explain it to yourself. You have a choice. You could say, wow, this sucks. This is going to last forever. This is my fault. Or you could say, you know what? This is temporary. This is something that only affects one area of my life, and it's not going to affect everything else. So pay attention how it is that you explain things to yourself. Teach your kids this. Look at your team. Now, if you're a leader, if you have people on your team, you get a chance to set the narrative. and setting that narrative around how this is explained. Because when you take authority in that moment, people are watching you and they're using you as that guidepost, as that lighthouse to determine which way to start thinking.
And I want to leave you one final note. When it comes to leaning on your community, as you can see, this is a little bit of a change, it was a little bit of a curveball in my world, but I had to lean on my community, Julian, Nicole, Katie, and everybody to help put this little video together. So guys, life's gonna throw you curveballs, but you gotta lean into those that are in your world, the ones that care about who you are, in the same way that you would care about them. So back to you, Marc.
Hey, thanks, Rene. Always appreciate you. You have always have great viewpoints and great talking points. So thank you for continuing to help us out in our weekly sales meeting. So we'll get to my point. Everyone, my name is Marc Summers. I am the president of AIME and just want to welcome everyone to my segment of the weekly sales meeting. Obviously, the topic we've been talking about today is leaning on your community. And let me tell you this, the community that we have is phenomenal. And I want us to appreciate how great our community really is. So what I kind of want to do here is take you through where it used to be, or which was non-existent, all the way through where we're going. So first off, our community really used to be non-existent. Yeah, there's probably a few Facebook groups out there and whatnot, but for the most part, we've never had anything like the community we had. I look at it this way. I started in the business in 2001. If you were a broker or banker down the street, you were my enemy. I have no idea why, but you were my enemy. We all felt like we were on a deserted island and we were all fighting against each other. But once you kind of put things into perspective, realizing that, you know, we're approximately 20% of the market and we shouldn't be each other's competition, it puts everything kind of back into perspective. So in the past, there really wasn't a community. So now I'm going to look at the present, which is we have a great community, and this community has grown in the last 2.5 years, basically since AIME's inception. And I couldn't be more proud of it. It's the thing I'm most proud of when it comes to AIME and everything that we've accomplished is the community. So once again, I look back in 2001 when I started in the business, I had no one to lean on. I had no one. Now we have this community that you can lean on. I mean, look at the Brokers Are Better Facebook group page. It's phenomenal. It's a wealth of knowledge. We're allowed to lean on each other because this community that we have is going to keep catapulting us with our projections up and continuing to go up and have more market share. So our present community is great. I want us all to lean on each other. Just like I said, the Brokers Are Better Facebook group page, that thing is phenomenal. There's so many feel-good stories in there. A quick one was we had someone go on, an individual, and basically say that they didn't know how to do FHA streamlines and if there was a class. Well, one of our members, one of our community, peers, reached out to that individual. They got on the phone, talked for an hour or two. Now they know how to do FHA streamlines. I mean, that's what we have here. It's never been done. So let's lean on it and continue to move forward. Now, in the future, where is this community going? Who knows? I mean, we're all in the mortgage business. And if we have all had that crystal ball, we would all be multi-millionaires. We don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you this. With the way everything's going, the momentum that we have, the future of our community is going to be big. And it's going to continue to get bigger with your help. Okay? So the future of our community is going to be great. The present is great. There wasn't anything too long ago, but guess what? We're here now. You can lean on this community, and it's the best community out there. I'm telling you, it really is. So a couple tips here is number one, use this community to your advantage. Just like I said, the Brokers Are Better Facebook group page, wealth of knowledge in there. You can type information in there. You can ask questions. We all have our own little niche, and we all have our own little, situations that we've been in. And now we have this ability with this community to lean on each other. And I want us to continue to do that. So use it to your advantage. If you have a question, put it in there. If you have a comment, hopefully they're all positive comments, put it in there. And this community is going to help you. So lean on it. Number two, what I want us to start doing even more now is, giving back to the community. And there's a million different ways that we can do that. I mean, obviously, we're all going to do our own little things with our businesses and help our current local community. But this broker community that we have, I want you to start providing more if you can. Just like I said, we all have this knowledge. Kick some in a little bit. That one little nugget that you have or one little situation that you've had in the past literally could help someone drastically. So give back to it, because I promise you this, I'm a big believer in karma, and I promise you this, that you'll get it back tenfold. So do it without expecting anything back, and I'm sure, and I promise you, it will come back. So that's why I love this community. This community is great. We're going to continue to push forward. We're going to continue to gain more market share. We're going to continue to just cut the nonsense out and move forward because listen, remember, at the end of the day, and I've said this in every weekly sales meeting, we do one thing better than anyone, and that's put the consumer first. And as long as we continue to do that, continue to be positive, lean on each other in this community, listen, sky's the limit for us. And I'm so excited, for future numbers to come out and for the future of our industry. So want to give you a quick little legislative update here. 41 congressmen signed a petition and sent it to the director of FHFA, Mark Calabria, basically opposing this refinance fee, the 50 basis points that we've all been talking about over and over. It kind of came out of nowhere, slapped us in the face. So when you were floating a loan, whatever the case may be, it kind of put us in a little bit of a predicament. Well, as of yesterday, FHFA announced that they're going to delay this until December 1st. So two things here. Number one, hopefully, and within reason, our lenders can kind of ease into this fee now, and instead of just kind of slapping it on. And our lender partners did the best they could to educate us and get us moving forward with it. And then now number two is this. We know that it's coming December 1st, so we can be prepared. All right. So at the end of the day, they're delaying it. Hopefully this helps us out, as much as possible, but we know it's coming, so we're going to have to be prepared for it. So I just want to thank everyone for their time. I'm going to close this out here. Thank you for coming to our weekly sales meeting. I'm Marc Summers. I'm the president of AIME, and look forward to seeing you next week.